Okay, folks, good morning. So, we have many different Gaslands things happening at once. And the only reason I'm doing this is because some of these are going to take a long time. Well, there are multiple steps, and you have to wait for the stupid multiple steps to dry. So we've got 4 vehicles that we're working on right now. Potentially. And in typical format, for me, I don't even have them designed yet, and they already have names. So it always, you can do whatever you want, but it just doesn't make any, I don't operate the way that's like, okay, I've got this built, I don't know what it's called. I'm like, well, you just skipped the most fun part as far as I'm concerned. Just skip the most fun part. Move these things out of the way so we don't run over any decals. And let's get this somewhere handy. This normal location is here. I need to get a bigger trash can. I have a little trash can underneath here, and it gets filled in a moment. Because a lot of things are just inflexible what size they are to throw them away. And they just take up a lot of space. You know, a card here for the backing of one of these Hot Wheels takes up a lot of space on it. Nobody's here, right? Nobody's here. All right, let's put all this shit away. Let's put all this shit away. Because then you can't find things and you knock something over trying to get to something else. All things that I find extremely annoying. We'll put a little vacuum over here. What do we got here? Plastic bags. Something down here. What is it? I need a bigger garbage can. It's too small. Alright, they're Tamiya cutters. Probably won't need those today. Our brushes, how did our dry brush? Oh, they had a dry brushed brush. Turned out just fine. He's handy. Probably not going to do any painting today. Or not this morning anyways. We're in the build phase. Okay. Is this relatively clean? Yeah, it's cleaner than the other side. Okay. Alright, so we got 4 different vehicles that we're working on right now, and they all have names. We just need to build them. I kind of know what I want to do with 3 of them. I don't know what I want to do with 1 of them. But regardless, it has a name, and we're going to build it so it makes sense to the name. And this is a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The mouthful. This is originally the color that it came in. It came in just like this. All I did is I added a clear coat to it. It frosted the windows. You can tell there's something inside. It's going to have bulletproof glass. We may end up putting a screen over it. We don't know. It's got the little Porsche logo on here. We have a little Hot Wheels logo that we want to remove. We want to just paint over it. I bought a set of those dry erase markers. People swear that using those dry erase markers you could wipe the stuff off. I have never seen that be successful. I tried it. Maybe the ones I bought were too cheap. Didn't work for me. So I just forget about it, and when we get to the painting stage, I just color match this and it'll disappear for me. Okay? So this is a This is a Porsche 911. GT3, is it what? RS? RS. Okay, and this one is called, I gotta find out what it is. It's actually called Murder Slut. What? But it's in German. So let me go into my thing and find out exactly what it's called, because I need to start learning that. I need to start learning what it's called, because that's what it is. So let me go into here and here. I think this is where it is. Okay, I probably need to figure this out. Good morning, Ben. So you're out walking. Whew. Go find an AC. We'll figure out what this is, yes, since we got people here. So what I was talking about, I have these 4 vehicles. Unlike everybody else, unlike most people, I've already designed the name of them, and I'm going to build them around the name. This is a Porsche 911. It's going to stay pink. It is called Murder Slut, or something like that in German. Okay. It is a performance car, which is 15 points. Okay, we know that much, and we're going to shoot for the magic 27. Okay, this guy here is one of my favorite vehicles and almost everybody else's favorite vehicle. A Nissan Skyline. This is an R33. I think I like the 34 better, although if he gave me a 32 or a 30, I'd be fine with them. So this is called Kaiju Killer, because it's got Godzilla on the side of it. Okay, it's going to stay white, and it is the Skyline R33. Okay, this vehicle, which has been stripped now, and stripped really nicely, I should say, is, I believe his name is Butch, because that's what's written on the bottom of it. It is a Thomas the Tank Engine tow truck. Okay? And disclaimer, this may end up not being a tow truck when we're done with it. Okay? But this one is called, this is Thomas Tow Truck. And this is the Big Galoot. Jeez. I've only had one finger of coffee, so. GALOOT. Okay, and it's going to be a heavy truck. This is a performance vehicle also. Performance car. All right, that's time for another finger of coffee. Okay, this is a heavy truck. And I don't remember how much they are. That's going to be big glue. This isn't stripped because it's plastic. You just put this in a stripper and you'll be left with mucus. That's about what you'd be left with. And this, I specifically got this. This is an M113 fire support vehicle that they used in Vietnam by the Australians. Okay, so I'm going to make this. It's going to be my first Australian vehicle. Or, you know, Dreadnoks or something like that. I don't know. Something Australian thing. And it's going to be called the Iron Roo. And it is going to be a tank. And again, I don't know how many points a tank is. And I may replace the turret on it. But we're going to keep the M113 body. Now, it's kind of ironic that something with an M113 body would be tank, because M113s were famous for not being very protective of people inside of them. But we're going to try to up armor it or make it look a little bit more nasty. So that's the 4 builds that we have. These 2 will be in the original color. This will be most of this, and this will be a complete rebuild. Now, interesting thing about the paint stripper that I use. It works pretty well. It's that gel-based one. Cleaned this right up. This had an overspray camouflage scheme on top of it. It was this olive drab, and it had a couple different like tricolors. It had like a green and a brown and a black. It took that off. For whatever reason, it did not take this baked on green finish off of it. It was just really resistant to it. So instead of really worrying about it, I'm just going to move forward with it being this color. It's not going to stay this color, okay? I'm going to paint it. I was going to paint it in counter scheme. But then I realized, you know, it'd probably be better served to be painted like the Sentinel tank. Like the British Sentinel tank. Let's see if I still have a picture of it up here. So it's going to be in desert color with like a green hand-painted camo on it. We're going to put the kangaroos on the side of it. Okay? Because I was like, okay, I want to do the kangaroos on the side of it, without a doubt. And well, I got the counter paint scheme, so that's awesome. But it's going to be like a bunch of things that aren't going to go together. And it's going to be, the counter paint scheme is kind of complicated. And I think that the kangaroos will get lost. So that's how I'm going to go about this. Now I need to design this. It's going to be cannon armed. I think. And, but I may put a Valentine turret on it, because I've got extra Valentine turrets. And I'm thinking of, let's see if I can pull the one that has the 6-pounder in it. It's here somewhere. I shouldn't be able to, it should not be that difficult to find. Okay. This is the one with the 6-pounder in it. Why did something fall off of it? That's a piece of wire that has nothing to do with it. Okay. Again, you have to kind of remember that it's a different color. We'd cut off this so it's flush. I think that would look a lot better. I think that would look a lot better. Now it's going to sit level on it. It's gonna, I mean, everybody automatically knows this. Oh, it's an Australian vehicle. But this thing's kind of giving me trouble. It's almost like a Saladin turret, which that Saladin armored car is one of my favorite armored cars, even though it didn't really get used in any conflicts that I would ever model anything for. But I got all my Valentines built out. This is in the Tunisian color scheme. No, maybe we'll do a different type of experiment. But anyhow, that's what it's going to be. This is going to be the Iron Roux. Okay. I was going to originally call it the Bugger Blaster. But I had no intention of building an Australian tank. Sorry, fellas, but I came across those kangaroo decals. I'm like, all right, we got to do something with that. That's kind of cool. And they're in 1/35th scale. I'm never going to use them, and they're about the right size for this. So that's just kind of how that happened. Now, this originally had a chassis of 3 sets of wheels. I had to go outside. I tried to convert it while I was here. I just did not have tools that were powerful enough. I mean, this metal is super smooth. This Thomas the Tank Engine metal is much better than these die cast. It is. Where's this made? Learning curve. I'm not sure. But it's quality. And when I remove these wheels, it's like a perfect fit for this. It's like a perfect fit for this. Now, I don't know that I'm going to put... And then I've got the 2 axles that I didn't use. I could use them for something else. And they look pretty decent. They're pretty knobby. Pretty knobby. I don't know that I'm going to make it a tow truck because I've got a heavy truck here that has... I've got several of them are already equipped with that. Okay, so I may not do that. Now, I'm shooting for a 50-point vehicle for this. I want this thing to be 50 points. Okay, so 50 points is the goal here of that one. I don't know what the point goal on the tank is. This is going to have tracks just for looks. Okay, it's not going to behave like a tracked vehicle because it's not fully tracked. This one is, because obviously it is. Yeah. So, I may close in the bed here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet at this point with that thing. So, I need to build these things out so we have an idea what the hell we're building. All right? So, I'm not worried about the performance cars. I've done lots of those. Those are a piece of cake. Let's do the tank first. Okay, so we're going to go to the rules. And find out what a tank core price is. Its core price is 40. That's not good. That's not good. That's awfully high, and it's awfully small. It's heavyweight, has hull points of 20, handling 4, max gear 3, crew 3. All right. It has pivot for free. It also has up and over, which basically means it can run over people. It is a heavyweight, but somehow it's small. Well, it's armored. That's why it weighs so damn much. Okay? It's turreted. And the turreted part gives you you get a free weapon being turreted by it being there. And it's also restricted. Okay, so I'm going to go to good morning. It's got a lot of perks that come with it, and it gets a free turret. Yep. Working on a tank build right now. I'm stuck between 50 and 60. What are you going to do for the skyline? I don't know. But they're not going to be repainted. I just wish it wasn't so fucking small. But it's okay. You know, it's a light tank. I don't know. I don't want to make... I could make up my own rules for this one in particular. I don't want to go there. That's just too... That's too much freedom. Okay, all terrain. May ignore penalties for rough and treacherous. Right. Pivot. Start this vehicle's activation is... If this vehicle's current gear is 1, this vehicle may make a pivot about its entire face to face any direction. That's really handy if you wipe out. This pivot cannot cause a collision, cannot leave the vehicle touching obstruction. Turret may count 1 weapon as turret mounted without paying for the upgrade. Up and over. Okay. Alright, so what is a 125 millimeter cannon? I should just call that a heavy cannon because, you know, it costs 6. Oh, what's the build slot on this thing? Tank. Build slots 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't care that it has an APC capability. This one does not. Okay. Yeah, I want to do an Australian tank now that I found those kangaroo decals. I'm like, yep, Iron Roo. So the big cannon, which is not really very big, costs 6 points. That put me at 46. And a ram would put me at 4 and I'm done. So I just have to put a ram on the front of this thing and it's done. Or, what else uses a slot? A BFG. No. Not on that little guy. I mean, and I'm not opposed to going and putting a minigun on it, but it looks the same. It's just a small It's a smaller cannon that behaves like a minigun. You know, it's just, you know, you need some kind of visual flexibility. But a minigun only saves me 1 point, and it's 4d6 as opposed to 8d6. But a minigun doesn't run out of ammo. But lots of other things have miniguns. Now, it doesn't look very big, but it's about the same size as the cannon that's on the back of old Ben. Let's get old Ben out here. I just can't believe this. The green paint didn't strip. It must be baked on or something. Yeah, it's not too out of line. It's not too out of line. Let's give it a ram. It's going to have a cannon and a ram. All right. So this is going to have gotta hate calling it a 125 millimeter cannon. So it's Soviet. Sometimes you just fucking know too much. 6, and then you know, here's another thing. Maybe this is a 50-point tank, and some of the other tanks that are bigger are like, you know, 60 or 70, right? Okay, well, it's a lot. There's your light tank, right? So, and we're gonna put a ram on it, and that's 4, and this is the magic 50 points. Okay, so it's the same as my other 50-point vehicles. Okay? That's designed. And like I said, we're gonna paint it like a Sentinel tank, or inspired by a Sentinel tank. And if you don't know what that is, which I'm not surprised that you wouldn't, because it's kind of rare. Let's find a picture of. They've got one in the Australian Armour Museum. I don't really like the lines on it, but I do like the paint scheme. Actually, there's lots of them. Let's say this one right here. So it's going to have a hard edge camouflage, and we're going to put the kangaroos on the side there. Okay, Iron Roo, big galoot. Ah, you big galoot. Exactly. Now, I decided yesterday, I was bored, and after I had stripped this thing, I'm like, well, let's see what AI can help me in ideas. Let's see. For possible paint schemes, let's see what we got here. Oh, it's stuck under British tank camouflage. Okay, I put on here. This is a vehicle called the Big Galoot. Give me some ideas of what color scheme it should have. And then it gave me a Western Desert one, because I just searched for things for Western Desert. Rust Bucket Wasteland, Arctic Recovery Vehicle, Caterpillar Factory Demo, British SCC 15 Recovery Truck. That's an olive drab color that they used late war. German Construction Vehicle, Mad Max Fuel Hauler, Logging Tractor, Civil Defense Rescue Vehicle, the Big Galoot character build, all those things. I said, you know what? Stop fucking around. Make all of these. And it did. And this is what we have. Now, I don't really, first of all, this is the thing about AI. It's useful, but you got to know what you're looking at. It's an advisory group. Like, it did a legitimate, Western Desert type color, but then it wouldn't put a French flag on the door. Here is Rust Bucket Wasteland with Big Galoot on the door. I like the idea of putting Big Galoot on the door. It's a relatively large door. I don't mind doing that one. Arctic Recovery Vehicle. Not going to make it Arctic, but I like how it did a certain part of the hull of the hood that was not painted. Kind of cool, or painted in a different color. Caterpillar Factory Demo. Doesn't speak to me. I got enough of yellow fucking construction vehicles. We don't need another one. Here's a British recovery vehicle. But yet, look, it's got those white stars, so it's American. No, the British used it. No. That's why you don't put white stars on a British vehicle. Here's a German one. I'm not doing this. Not a German vehicle. What's this one? Mad Max Fuel Hauler. Doesn't do anything for me. I like this one. This is the logging tractor. And what I liked about it is it painted the roof a different color. And that's probably something I would not have done on my own. It's not natural for my inclination to be that way. Now, I don't know how useful that is, but I like how they did that. But there's errors in it, it painted the track color green or whatever. Like it's an advisory thing. Civil defense vehicle. This one's very cute. Notice that it added a little dome thing on an extra dome on the top. Logging tractor. What's really interesting about the logging tractor is the little pine tree little logo they gave me. So like that's something I would do. Like I wouldn't have thought about doing that, but I'm like I like how it looks. And Galoot looks like some bastard that's out in the fucking forest anyways. You know, like some Paul Bunyan looking dude, you know? So that kind of works. I don't mind this one at all. But, you know, it's a first aid, and Gaslands is about killing people, not about being nice to humanity. And then here's the character build. Again, I like seeing these things for like the color combinations. Like, okay, what's the blue and the red together look like? And you either like it or you don't like it. A big galoot looking Paul Bunyan-esque looking guy. One truck, 10 lives. Which big galoot will survive the wasteland? So I didn't love any of them other than the logging one. And I don't know that I want to jam up the back of this thing with logs. Now, it could be a drop weapon. You could have, you know, a bunch of logs. You know. Not bad. So I saw this and I'm like, all right, let me ask it something specific. Make a scheme that would be appropriate for the Old West. And it's still trying to create the image. So I had to like burp it and go back in. And I like, let's see, I think I'm going to have to download this one to be able to see it. Yeah. And this is what it came up with. Now, I like that dark red, that burgundy, weathered burgundy. And I like that it made this bed like it's made of wood. However, this one's flat, so I don't have to do that. I can also make it look like wood, which, as I've said before, I'm a fan of it. They gave me a little rope there for some reason. Looks good. See, I don't like AI to like, okay, make all the choices for me, but it gave me some ideas of what something could look like. And you're like, all right, well, what of this do we like? What of this we would have changed? You know. So I think I'm going to go towards, I think I like the burgundy, although I think I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. It's, I think, a little too dark. And I think I'm going to make the bed a different color. I just don't know what the hell it's going to be armed with. Yeah, look, they even have the other thing I liked about this, here's the back of it. Now, one thing I wouldn't have come up with, look at the door. Look at those the little symbol below the door. I don't know, maybe some satanic symbol. Not when I put it on, there isn't. But it's just like a little trim thing that I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have thought to do. And it's like, you know, it just gives you ideas. It opens up the pores in your brain kind of thing. You know? Or, you know, a symbol. It doesn't have to be that one, but. So, the big galoot. It's a heavy truck. What other heavy trucks do we have here? Because we don't want it similar. Well, that are 50 pointers. I think I have two. the butcher, el carnicero. See, it has a wrecking ball, and a minigun, and a ram. So, I'd probably be okay with having 2 of those 3 things. I don't want all 3 of those 3 things. That's stupid. The other vehicle I have, I believe this is a 50-point vehicle. I think it is. Let me think of what it's called. Tuscaloosa Tallywhacker. The Tuscaloosa Tallywhacker. Yeah. That's it. Tuscaloosa Tallywhacker also has a wrecking ball. So I'm not putting a wrecking ball on this thing. Okay? And honestly, that dark green looks. I may make it a logging thing. Oh shit! What about this? Nah, too modern. We're gonna get back to this in a second. Too small, actually. The finish on the metal is incredible. It is really high quality compared to. I don't know who made it, but it's better quality than the other ones. So I don't mind it having a ram. I don't want it to have a wrecking ball on it. And so let's build this bitch. And then we can actually go build them. All right, so let's go into the rules. Yeah, the good thing is I got a lot of experience doing this stuff, so it's like, it's not that difficult. Sometimes you just have to decide what you're going to do. So it's going to be a heavy truck. Crew 4. I don't know where they're all going to sit in each other's fucking lap. Build slots 5. Wow. What's the base point of this thing? 25 points. So it starts as 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means I have an average of 5 points for each one of these things. Okay, now I do not have a heavy truck with a turret on it. Okay, so I could seal this up, put a turret back there, and I have lots of turrets to choose from. Not necessarily this one. Although this doesn't necessarily not look like the vehicle. But we'd have to raise it up enough, like that it would fit on there as a turret. Okay? You have plenty of space to do that. And if it was a minigun type weapon, that would cost me 15 points. So we'd be at 40. And I have 2 build slots. So it'd still be an average of 5 for each. So I could do a ram and I'd be left with 6 points for something else. I think it needs to have a ram. It's just imposing enough that it looks like if that thing hits you, you're not gonna like it. So I think a ram is in order. It's gonna cost 4 points, and it's gonna use up a build slot. I'm gonna go with a. Let's go with a minigun, turreted, and that's 15. Oh, but it only uses one build slot then. Well, son of a dick. Shit. And then I'd be left with 3 build slots. All right. right, if I made this a tank gun, it would be 6 times 3, 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. Plus 25 is at 47. I would have 3 build slots for one thing. All right, let's put tank gun. That's what I need to start calling it, tank gun. Tank gun turreted, and that's 18 points. And that's going to use up 3. What do we have with 3? Now, the whole point is not to make something that's impossible to deal with. It's to make something that that plays differently than other things that you have. And you're going to get randomly assigned which one it is. Like, I wouldn't want to use this every time. Like, I use it. Okay, that was fun. Let me use something else. And you try to win, but who cares? What has it's going to have to have a bigger than that. This is going to be for like a car or something like that. If I only had a harpoon weapon. I don't have one. I'm not sold on that anyways. What else is 3 points or less? Oh shit. A mortar. Well, there's no place for a damn mortar. I don't want to leave build slots unused. That's stupid. Caltrop dropper. Let's give it a caltrop dropper. That's 1 point and uses a build slot, and then we have two points for a perk. So let's go to Perklandia, and let's go to built, because the thing is massive. Dead weight, it's already heavyweight, so that's not useful. Barrel roll, no. Bruiser. Collision bonus vehicle. The vehicle declares a reaction, evade, and vehicle gains. Declares a reaction other than if this vehicle declares a reaction other than evade, the enemy vehicle immediately gains a hazard token. Oh, that's 4 cans. Never mind. What the fuck am I looking at? I gotta look for the 2 can ones. Deadeye. Vehicle attack step. The vehicle gains a +1 bonus to hit if making a shooting attack at a target within double range and not within medium. Fully loaded. I get a +1 attack die the first time I use the ammo token off the cannon. That's all right. That's all right. taunt. At the start of this vehicle's attack step, roll a skid dice. If you roll something other than a shift, so when you're attacking, if you roll something other than a shift, you may place that skid dice result onto the dashboard of a target vehicle within short range. Well, that's really close. And it would probably be the most useful, like somebody you just fucking rammed. Because it's hard to be within short range of somebody and not be in an impact. This skid dice result must be resolved during that vehicle's next movement step and may not be re-rolled. I like taunt. Okay, here's Big Galoot, 50 points. Alright, let's build these bitches. Now, I'm not worried about the performance cars. Those will just be like, stick shit on them and, they're good to go. Okay. Let's put these guys back. All right. First things first. It's turret time. Okay? Both of these vehicles need turrets. So, a couple things we're going to do. Let's do the iron roof first. I can either use this turret or get one from a Valentine. So I have a set of Valentine turrets here that I did not need. I'm not sure why I didn't need it, but I'm sure there's a good reason. So instead of going through the fucking instructions, let's go to Plastic Soldier Company. Plastic Soldier Company. 172nd Valentine instructions. Oh, here's my video that I did with the unboxings. Images. Okay. And I'm not opposed to replacing the cannon with a piece of tubing or something like that. Something that looks a little bit more imposing. Let's move Galoot over here. We'll do the turret for Galoot next. All right. So this is missing. Why do I have an extra turret? Maybe because I built two and I don't know. I built two turrets out of something. So that's probably what it is. One of these is the one for the let's face this the right. Is this the 1/72nd scale one? Where are the dudes? It looks different. Something queer's afoot. Something queer is afoot. This doesn't match this. Alright, I'm going to go find the instructions. And that doesn't mean the instructions aren't wrong. massive bag of instructions. There's the ones for the honey. The ones for the Panzer III. If I have all these instructions and don't have the ones I need, I'm throwing the rest of these away. Just so you know. The one time I need to use and these instructions, and I saved them for a situation like this. If I don't have the one I have, all these instructions are going in a fucking garbage can. I ain't putting up with fucking irony and coincidences on the weekend. They can just fuck right off. Okay, Stewart. Here it is. Ah, see, it got scared and it showed up. Yeah, see, look at this shit. Okay? If you look at this on their website, Plastic Soldier Company, but these instructions are different. Okay. Damn it, I wanted to throw all these away. Son of a bitch. Okay, this is the whole stuff, so I don't care about that right now. All right, this is this set right here. That. Here we go. And this may not be accurate. Okay, this is the early turret. See, I haven't built these that long ago, and I've like forgotten. There's definitely errors in some of the Plastic Soldier Company stuff. I still love their stuff, but you know, they need to hire me so I can straighten their shit out. All right. I'd rather not use an early one, because if I want a hatch, I want a now this is the Mark III is the one that went to Russia. And it has the 3-piece hatch that opens all the way up. Okay? This is the late war one. The one they use in Tunisia. So, and it comes with a Russian crew guy. Yeah, whatever. All right, I don't want to use this turret here. The red one uses the one with the 2 hatches. I don't want to use that one either. So I think what I want to do is I want to make a combination of using the one with the single hatch on it and maybe putting a different gun on it or putting a different front. I don't mind kludging something together. This is make-believe anyways. What I really wanted to know is, before I started putting it together, is which sides go with which top, because it's obvious which hatch it is. So, where's my Tamiya cutters? Let's, this top goes with these sides, but I may alter the front. Okay. So like this front goes with it. I may put this front with it. And worst case scenario, I build this turret and I don't like how it looks and I just go back to using the little Australian version. But I figured this was a way to Commonwealth it up a little bit more. This is my Australian tank called the Iron Roo. And this is an M113 fire support little die cast. It's probably close to 15 millimeter. It's somewhere between that. It might be like 1/90th scale or something. Doesn't say what it is. And this is what it looked like. They used them in Vietnam. And this barrel is being kind of a bit of a bitch. And so I decided what's it going to look like with an extra Valentine turret on it, in place. Give you a chance to Commonwealth it up a little bit. But just the body of the Valentine turret, because I may put a different cannon in there. Because I'm going to paint it like a Sentinel tank, in the colors of a Sentinel tank. And then we'll put the kangaroos from the M113 1/35th scale set on the side. Hopefully on a splotch that has a fair amount of green so it stands out. Because it's kind of like middle stone and dark green. But this paint wouldn't strip. This paint would not strip. It's baked on or something like that. Maybe if I left it a really long time, but it's not really covering up over any details. There was an overspray of a couple different colors, and I wanted to get those off. So yeah, these are extra Valentine turrets that I don't have a use for unless I was going to make a tank half buried. So there's no harm, no foul using it for these. So this is the turret. Hold on a second, make sure I do this right. Oh, hold on, I gotta be careful. This is tricky as shit. Yeah, this is the Valentine Mark III turret that has one opening in it. So this is the one that went to Russia. I ain't building them. In my land, the freaking commies don't get any Western Lend-Lease shit. Let them fend for themselves. I'm not saying the Germans are the good guys. I'm just saying we shouldn't help the commies. Fuck them. And I'm using this one because it has a single hatch in the top. And I may put somebody in it. I'm just saying. So you're saying there's a chance, yes. And I'm going to paint this like a Sentinel tank, like the one that's in the Australian Army Museum. So it's going to be middle stone with like green hard edge camo on it. And we got to pick a ram out for it. I'm sure I've got things that are appropriate. And it's going to be a light tank in the sense that it's only going to be 50 points. Which I have a feeling that's a little low on the point scale for tanks. I was originally going to call it the Bugger Blaster. But I actually used chat and it gave me, I said, let's just check and see if it gives me any ideas for tanks. And once it gave me a name with Roo in it, there's going to be kangaroos on the side. That's unavoidable. When it gave me a name for Roo with it, I'm like, I got to go with that. Because that's a tie-in to this kangaroos on the side of it. All right, now, I want to remove the bottom of this because it needs to sit pretty much flush. Otherwise, if it's sticking up here, it just doesn't. It don't look right. It don't look right. That boy ain't right. That turd ain't right. Exactly. So, This is some pretty soft stuff. This thing's gonna look great. Yeah, remember how good that Kinderkampfwagen is. I said I wasn't gonna World War II this game, but it seemed like the one that I got the closest to World War II was like my favorite one. Scheisse happens, you know. I may go back to this turret. I may decide, okay, that turret, never mind. This turret looks better, but I put one of these on here and it looked like it was an improvement. This stuff cuts almost like butter. If you have any of these, you know what I'm talking about. Unless they change the compound of their plastic, which I wouldn't be surprised if people did stuff like that. They changed the formulation of paints, so I'm actually doing this on cardboard on purpose because if it has any parts that stick out, it'll push into the cardboard and it gives me a little bit of a cushion as opposed to on a hard thing where I can snap the piece off. So you're wondering, why is this dumbass cutting on cardboard? Well, first of all, I have a shitload of cardboard. Second of all, I inadvertently found out that this was actually kind of a freebie. I wasn't crushing my own things. Just gonna get it close and then we'll sand it. And I like working with this. This plastic is awesome. I mean, working with die cast is a pain in the ass. Working with plastic is, as long as it's not brittle. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on this side. Let's just get it close. This used to never happen. You'd use this and it gets loose. Like, that used to never happen as a kid. I don't think I ever had an X-Acto knife. Of course, this isn't an X-Acto knife. This is Pro Edge, so that may be what it is. Made in USA. Wow, there's the problem. It's like a Ford. I want one made in fucking Japan. Jeez, don't make me put safety glasses on. It hit me right in the forehead. I got beeped on the face. I'm thinking the Galoot is going to have a Sherman turret on it. Just so you know. In case you were wondering. Wait, does it have a minigun? No. Because I'd replace the tank gun with a minigun. I don't have that many vehicles with tank guns anyways. You think, oh, it's only got 3 rounds of ammo. It's plenty. You'll probably get knocked out before that happens. Alright, let's see how these two pieces go together. And yeah, we cut some of this off. That's alright, it's understandable. We have to. You don't really even need this peg. Well, this will just get stuck on with a piece of stickum. And then I also get to use this. Oh, this is the California one. Where's the other one? This one doesn't work as good as the other one. Of course, it's in California, right? Right, Marcus? Things from California don't work as well. That going okay? Your California adventure going all right? I got a piece of plastic in my coffee. Too much government. We're shutting down the coffee shop in August. There's too much government everywhere. And you know what else is bad other than government? Corporations. And I didn't used to have that attitude. I am not a, anti-corporation person, but, corporations also weren't, willing to do lie, cheat, and steal and do anything to show a profit, even if there was like, a nuclear war, no matter what. And that's the problem with it. You know, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with showing a profit, but you shouldn't. You should be honorable in getting it. You know, that's it. Live your life honorably. I don't have to tell you that. You're from the South. Well, you think you're from the South. Virginia isn't the South. Yeah, you know what I mean. Corporations just kind of start turning into like, yeah, we'll watch your kids and we'll make sure nothing happens to them. But if they have any lunch money, we're taking it all. Like, come on, man. It's like, do you do the right thing even if nobody's watching? You should. You know? Yeah, I know what you mean. Traps of public companies. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's a way to make money and cut corners. To combine things that benefits the customer. Just do the right thing, man. Like nobody has to tell you. Okay. Which front are we going to put this on? I believe all of them will work. So the early one, and I don't need any of these, so I can mix and match. Let's see how this little guy fits in here. I mean, the turret ring is like spot the frick on. Like, it's like perfect. Okay. Now, what are my choices? This one that has a gun already on it, I'd rather not do that. Okay? This late one that has the mantlet that's attached to the gun here. I kind of like them all. You can only pick one. Well, I like the one that has, I like the unique one that has the 57 millimeter in it. Nope. And let's remove the 57 millimeter as well. Even though I may not use the barrel. Yeah, I don't ever have trouble sleeping for, breaking my moral code or anything like that. Do the right thing, man. That's why you got parents. That's why you had decent parents. What if you didn't have decent parents? Ah, there's the problem. There's the problem. Oh, yeah, this little guy. All right, so we're going to glue this on the front. And I'm going to keep this mantlet, but I think I'm going to remove this cannon. I'm going to put something a little stubbier. I don't mind putting a guy in there, but like, what's it going to look like? This would be a time like I'd want a guy that looks like a dreadnought. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, it is an Australian thing. Some guy with a mohawk, pink mohawk or something. Maybe not pink. How you know it's a dude, not a girl? He doesn't have a pink mohawk. That's back in the day. I remember when I was in my teens, I used to take somebody like Billy Idol, and we used to think Billy Idol was kind of like an edgy guy, right? Oh man, he dresses kind of edgy. Now it's like we had no idea what was fucking coming around the corner. No idea. Oh, we didn't know we had a big helping of fruitcakes and cantaloupes coming. I know who's going to get a kick out of this when I get this done. And again, this is one of these like, I don't know how this is going to play. I don't care. It's going to be fun, you know? Dude looks like a lady takes on a new meaning today. Yep. So I was disappointed. I did not find a duster, because I want to create a car called Fairy Dust. I may have to order that one at some point. But I did find the car I'm going to call Drag Queen. It's a dragster. Hey, I want an inclusive game. You know? I want people from all walks of life to go to a death race. Everybody. We don't discriminate. Everybody's allowed to be a felon. So I was looking through the decals. They make some really interesting decals. And since the decals with the Twinkie thing went so well, I'm like, I'm probably going to do some more of that. And there's some really interesting decals I could have done. But I don't want to, I don't want to get political. I don't mind making fun of everybody, but I don't really want to get political. But they did have some Trump decals. And you could have a fucking field day with that. But I'm not going to go there, you know. He's in enough of the news already. But you could do all kinds of Trump stuff. In a few years, and you won't hear about him anymore. So it doesn't have tremendous longevity. But you could have a field day with some Trump stuff. I'm just saying. You could have a field day with any political figure, but okay, I think I'm pretty safe to go ahead and glue the front of this. I think that's... And this should be able to attach well enough. I mean, if I wanted to be real particular, I could probably make a cylinder where it fits inside, but I'm perfectly happy doing this. Yeah, I don't want to do political stuff because there's people in every facet that's their religion. And I definitely lean one way more towards the other, but I'm not fucking blind. So, I'm not interested in religious. Oh, this looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Now, if we keep this length, it doesn't look too bad. But I think we could do something better than that. I think let's go grab the tubes. Let's go grab the tubes. Ooh. I got something interesting I can do. I can keep part of this barrel and it allows me to slide another one on there, and then we don't have to try to balance it with epoxy at the end. Let's see what we got here. This is a pain in the ass to clean up. See if I can find one of the length I already like. That's what she said. What? I'm going to keep... I'm going to commit an act of war. I'm going to snap half of this barrel off. I want to keep some of it in there so it'll keep it in place. I hope I don't have nightmares about what I'm going to do. I gotta save that. Okay, now I can't use this size. I gotta go up one more. It's the same fucking size. It's the same size, dumbass. It's Dumas. No, it's not. Now, what if I did even shorter than that? This is the right diameter. See, then you glue this in place, and you don't have to, it's got more stuff to stick onto. I kind of like it stubby. That's what she said. Yeah. Okay. Even stubbier? Now it's starting to look like a Panzer IV. L75 L24. A little longer. Okay, maybe one size longer than that. Man, there's all kinds of just tiny little width. I like that. All right, what if you want it even longer? That one's the winner so far. Yeah, too long. I think that's good. I think that's good right there. I mean, I gotta have these tubes for frickin' something. Now, let's get crazy. Yeah. I could telescope this. The end. Oh, shit. God, this is fun. Okay, that one's not quite. That's a little closer. Let's telescope it. What if we use even? Marcus, this is some fun shit. It's World War II-ish. Do I get half points? I think there's a tighter fit than this one. Okay, not only is this a good fit, but I think both of these are actually fitting in that little, in the end. Oh my gosh. This, God bless, this is fun. Let's, and I'm gonna armor up the sides because a tank on a M113, those guys were known for like not protecting nobody. Don't you mean anybody? No, I mean nobody. Now it's a little thicker because we got that stickum sticking out there. I'm not opposed to giving it a. Yeah, it's an opportunity to learn a new fucking skill. Okay, yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to putting something in here. Let's see what we got. Yep. If I build this up, what happened to this? Yeah, see, it actually fits inside this telescoping thing. That's okay. It's okay if you fell apart. Yeah, it actually fits in there, so that's even better. So when we go to glue that, you'll have a good purchase on it. And that slides over the end. I don't want to go to work tomorrow. This is fun. This is literally halfway where it needs to be. So if I put something that is this diameter, it needs to be exactly halfway through. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to cover this whole thing or use something really strong that can handle only half of this being glued down and still have enough strength to do it. All right, let's test to make sure that my theory holds. So we're going to shove this stuff in the turret. Always down on the floor. I can't lean over this, or I'll have a fucked up neck. That didn't exactly work. Okay. I gotta be careful. I gotta watch the Formula One race at 9. I don't have to. I choose to. Where the fuck did it go? Nope. Be gone! Oh man, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Because it needs to be flushed. It needs to be flush. It's just not going to have enough of a purchase on there. What if it was a little thicker? It might not be terrible. We don't need this anymore. Great. I lost the little silver sleeve. All right, we've got the length that we want, so let's go ahead and put all this shit away. Yeah, this is like 30-something years old, these tubings, and it's not until now that I've actually started using them. And I'd take one of these tank commanders with a beret and put him in there. I'd maybe put a beard on him, so he looks a little disheveled, anti-establishment. But I don't want all the oddball comments, right? Oh, he's just like Oddball. Yeah, fuck that hippie movie. I got hippies, but they're not on this team. I think technically this guy could be a cruel Britannia guy. It's part of, Greater Britannia, right? Australia. In this world, it's okay to have, Australians are all convicts. Well, everybody on this team is a felon. Everybody on every team is a felon. So, the Australians are no worse. Okay. Isn't the Games Workshop Rhino tank based on something like this? I think so. All right. while I'm percolating that, let's put all this shit away. Well, we're not going to move it far away. And let's get our rams. Which is the one that has the rams. This. I don't want one that has saw blades or anything like that. It needs to be, you know, militarized. I'll be goddamned if this doesn't fit exactly right. Look at that. It's like a perfect fit. Kind of. It's perfect, kind of. What? It's got holes for the headlamps, which it doesn't have any. I could cut that little piece on there and we could move that farther back. Where are you? It's not bad. I don't think that's the winner, but it's not bad. This probably won't be it. It's not. Man, this could have been a contender. But I don't think it is. Nope. I mean, those are for like rigs. We'll use this one if we don't have anything else. But I think we'll come up with something better. That's not too bad. No. I mean, you'll know when you see it. If you have to try really hard to like something, it's not the one. You know? If you need to really convince yourself of, is this going to work? That's not the one for you. That's not bad. That's not bad either. I hate this RAM. It's not good on anything. Sorry. No. No. That's too cool for other things. I don't want one of these rollers. No. Let me look at it anyways. Still don't want it. Not the saw blades. Not that. Not these teeth. I hope this doesn't work because this is really useful for smaller vehicles because of the width. Now it looks too much like something in Normandy. I prefer something that's a little bit more fantastical. God, you're in my way. Damn you! That's actually not bad. That's actually not bad. Not spikes. No, no. No, definitely not. Nope. Nope. Is there two sizes of this? Is this the same one as this one? It is, okay. Okay. Oh. It works better when I put the things away that aren't going to work. So all you clowns. My preference is to not use that one. Remember, the name is Iron Rue. So this one definitely looks like it's iron, like it's got some iron stuff to it. I don't like that it has holes for the headlamps and holes for the grill. So this is like, it's kind of like an opportunity wasted. So I'm not going to use that one. I saw a really cool rig that I didn't pick up at not Dollar General, what's the other one? Family Dollar. It was really cool looking. But I'm like, I don't need any of those. I haven't built one. Doesn't mean I'm not going to build them. That is something I would be scared about, the third version of the rules. Like build a war rig, and then the third version of rules, like war rigs are completely different. But there's no reason I can't just use vehicles from the second iteration and the third iteration of the game. I'm like, I don't have a problem with that. No, well, I'm not going to play your game. Good, because you're not invited. Bugger off then. Okay, this is kind of okay. It's not going. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. This is better. It's like a big mustache. This could attach down here, and there's enough gluing surfaces. And it's something that I don't really... It's hard to get a good... Like something like this fits on a lot of things and works well with it. Something like this does not. If I raised it, it wouldn't be any better. We have it down here, the hatch can still open, whatever it leads to. Okay. But this guy, I think it's the same type of situation. No, I'd have to raise this one. I don't want to use that one. That's not bad either, but it looks kind of evil. And I don't think this needs to look evil. So I think it's this one. And that's how I make decisions. That's how I make poor decisions, folks. Now, these two sides are kind of are kind of closed in a little bit. Is it beneficial to remove that? If I remove that, will my gluing surface improve or get worse? I think it'll get better, So let's go ahead and my safety goggles in the garage. Okay. Turn your head away and close your eyes. I'm sure that's probably okay. One thing I noticed is my vision is getting really, really bad. Not right now because I got my contacts out, but when I went to the die-cast store, I had 2 pairs of readers. I brought my super readers to me as well because I noticed with the 125s, like I can't see, there's details I want to. I'm spoiled. I'm really spoiled looking at things with the kind of magnification I have right now, and I've gotten used to it. And like, I wanted to like look at things in the package with that magnification. So I had like 2 fucking readers. I was like, extra handicapped. Yeah, and I could glue this thing like this, and that'd be okay too, or I could glue it down here. Let's say I decided not to glue this thing down, and I just had a piece of stickum like that. And I put this on the tank, right? Let's not overthink this. And I'm like, all right, the tank's gonna fire over here, so I'm gonna turn this and glue it down like that. I'm not gonna put a post on it. I haven't done it on so many vehicles. It's like, there's already too many things against it. Now the question is, does that look better? Or does that look better? And this certainly looks more menacing. Unfortunately, it's front heavy. Well, all right, it's time to glue these things in. I'm going to split the difference. I am going to use super glue, but I'm going to use the slow one. Okay. Let's take out the tank commander's hatch. and let's put a dude in there that we may or may not. I'm actually excited to paint a figure. I don't know if this is the right thing to do it on, but I mean, shit, you could have a whole Australian team and name all the vehicles after AC/DC songs. Thunderstruck. Whole lot of Rosie. You could just, you know. But this is definitely going to be Iron Roo because of the kangaroos. That's a cool decal, you know. What's up, Lee? Let's ask a Britisher. So if I had a team called Cruel Britannia, and I do, it'd be all right if the Australians were in there as well. I mean, it was part of Britannia at one point, you know, and then they decided to break off and, you know, or you guys sent them away. They were over there on detention. I mean, it's not like I'm putting the French in there, you know. All the right-hand drive people, you know, combined. Back in Black, there you go. Yeah, you could just, so many of the songs would be. All right, well, the nice thing is the fit on these guys is so good. I can test this. Hell's Bells. Hell's Bells would definitely be, would definitely have a BFG. Hell's Bells would definitely have a BFG. All right, so let's get one of these. Let's get one of these fellows. I don't want the guy with a mic in his mouth. That's a really cool figure. Yeah, maybe we'll try him in there just for yucks. Yeah, I'm really kind of, I wouldn't say getting outside my comfort zone. That's not really fair. I'm learning a new skill. Me winging it. This is my, you know, if I'm an artist, this is as close to Jackson Pollock as I could do. It's sitting a little high with this stickum. Actually, the other thing would be, don't even try to stick it in that hole. Here we go. Put a couple little, one would do it. If I do use that guy, I gotta use the beret in a different color. What color would the beret be? Raspberry, of course. Okay. I think so far all of this is a winner. We need to change the side so that it looks more Like it can deflect rounds instead of like an M113 that can't. Okay, so we're gonna put this back in the bin. And see if there's any parts in here we can use to enhance any of this. And just for comparison's sake, let's grab the big galoot. Man, it's heavy. Hence the name. And I'm going to take a Sherman turret that's already done. So let's take a Sherman turret that is, well, I'd use a Plastic Soldier Company one. I don't think I have any extra American Shermans turrets. I don't think I do. This is Russians. I don't. I got extra Stuart ones. Let's see if I can get something that looks like a standard Sherman turret. I'm going to take one of these off these Sherman Mark V's. If I built, I think it's too big. I think it's too big. I built something out of wood, and I could do that so that it's even with a cab, and then this thing fits like this. I don't know. I think it would look pretty fucking cool. I think it would look pretty freaking cool. I think it could look pretty cool. And the diameter is within. I think we should do that. I think we should do that. God, I love these Shermans. I've only used them in pictures. These British Shermans in particular have a much nicer color than the American ones. You know, like I said, you send stuff to Britain and they make it look better. And they give it a name. This is an M4 Tech. We're not calling it that. That's bloody boring. What do we have here in the turret department? I'm having a fucking blast, guys. All right, there's a Firefly turret with the two different. We're not putting a Firefly turret on it. I mean, the gun will be like out the next week. I mean, they look cool. Don't get me wrong. There's not knocking Fireflies. I'm just saying it's. And that may be all I have left. We can make one work. We could make one work if we have to. I don't want a Stuart turret on. That's stupid. This is why you don't throw Plastic Soldier Company parts away. And they give you a shit ton. All right, I just found something else the Rue's gonna have. Fuel tank. The Rue's gonna have a fuel tank. Nothing says Western Desert. Although I'm not gonna do counter scheme on it. I came really close. When I saw that Sentinel, I'm like, no, we gotta do a Sentinel paint scheme on it. That is just cool, okay? She's gonna get that. Okay? Anything else in here? No? Well, then why am I saving all this plastic? Because right now I have nowhere to put it. And I don't save this stuff for sprues anymore to make antennas. I use that brush stuff. And yes, this thing's gonna, don't worry, this thing's gonna have flags a-flying for sure. It's the whole point of doing a British tank. You put those little recognition flags. Those are awesome. Okay. Here's a U.S. tank commander. Bored to tears. We'll pull his happy ass out. I might use him for the dilute. Although I don't think this is going to be... I'm not going to put any white stars or anything on it like that. It's not going to be militarized to that degree. Here's another... Oh, we got extra parts there, so let's... Trying to get this stuff to take up less space. This is why I like doing this when I'm not in a time crunch. Like, oh man, you can't spend time doing all that shit. You got limited time. You got to use this in a certain... Like, nope, not anymore. We're not doing that. If you rush me, I'm not going to play. That's one. See a couple of fuel drums here. Ay, carajo. These armored sides. Might be useful to put on the tank. I gotta go fish where that thing is. More fuel tanks. What's this? This is the... Oh shit. This would have been good too. This is the turret of a frickin' of a Humber. Damn it, man. Yeah. We'll use that for another build. I didn't think I looked through here first. I didn't see one. Okay, there's another. But that's the same one, right? Yeah. I only need one. I only need one turret. Here's the 18-pounder barrel. Could make this have a Portee mount. That would be cool. Except I don't have the carriage of the gun. That would have worked good as have some Portee 18-pounder looking thing for the cannon. It'd use up that space on the back really, really well. What did I do? I just saw these. I had these sand shields. I remember, I just remembered, I built a vehicle that I put the sand shields on that didn't come with it. Oh, I do have a carriage. Oh, holy shit. All right. Holy shit. And I remember I took the sand shields and cut them down. Cut the middle section and spliced them back. I got another damn turret here for the Humber. That's a good looking British armored car too. Not all British armored cars look good to me. Look, and here's another turret already built. All right, let's backpedal a little bit. What would have happened if I would have put this instead? I don't like it any better. Okay. Whew. Dodge that bullet. Okay. Good. All right. Did we get our Sherman? Did we get our part 4? Oh man, I think I just had an epiphany. Great day. This is fun. Okay. This is good. We save that for later. And this plastic is such a pleasure to work with. I'll leave this one out too. We need one set of the Firefly. It does have the hatches, right? Okay, that hatch goes there, and then the big one. Oh, that might be the issue. Well, I could make my own hatch. That's not an issue. It doesn't need to look like anything, so that is. Oh, hold on. What do we see here? I may want this. I just don't want to put weapons and shit on there that the vehicle's not armed with. That annoys me. If somebody was making a comment, well, somebody would say to comment something like, Gaslands isn't what you see is what you get. It is for me. Like, you have to have some order in the world. You can't just have fucking chaos. I mean, I don't want that. I don't want to live in a world of chaos. Let's keep that. Oh, we got lots of extra stuff. What is this? This is a double hatch. That may go in there. I don't need sand shields. I don't really like the way sand shields look. That doesn't mean I won't put them on there. I think the tank looks better without sand shields. They look good on the honey. They look good on the honey, but. Do 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 do. Okay. What does the front of one of these turrets look like? Let's just cut one out. Oh, I see. I don't have the underside of it. No worries, mate. What if I did something ridiculous? Like put this gun shield on the front of this tank. Not losing anything by just taking a look at it. I don't know what the hell you need a shovel for there, but you put this on some kind of a square body. Let's see if I can put something on here that looks kind of like that. So we can close that up. Although it needs to be pretty tall, because even if it was this tall, you're still not gonna, it's gotta be top heavy. I don't know that I have something that's like a little box. I mean, I can make something, but I mean just something right now. You're gonna have to really use your imagination for this one. Okay, so we're going to build this square box all the way up. So it's even with the cab. And then up here we have a turret. And on the front of this turret, there's even a ledge here. What if that sits on a little ledge? Well, then the cannon doesn't fit even remotely close. Okay. I'd like to use one from here because then we still have this one to do a porte on something. There's little things back here. That must coincide with the thing around the gun. Okay. But that would be hidden. So if I took something like, say, this piece right here. And shove this inside somewhere. We're going to have to remove this. All right, shove this thing inside here somewhere. Now it's going to run into the bottom of that, but let's say we cut this thing down so we've got something of this girth. Oh, geez. Hold on a second here. And this thing is so shiny, it's nice. Let's give it a little bit of resistance. That's definitely going to be like that. There's no arguing that point. And obviously we're not going to be cork, it'll be sides up the side, and they can even be armored looking or something like that. Well, it's not very practical. They could hit. This is not a game of practicality. Okay? This is a game of kludging things together. I'm not sure any of these guns would work. The actual cannons would work. And I'm not sure that oh, it's backwards. Okay. I'm not sure that the gun shield makes it any better. If I had crews, I'd be tempted to slice the top of this off, and then you could have this be here, and he just fires over the heads of the driver. But I just don't. I don't have crews that I like. Okay. To be continued. That's on the galoot. This is part of this. And yeah, we've got the rear door and all that nonsense as well. And I don't know if that's the figure that's going to be in there. Is this glued now? Yeah, okay. That's going to be on the front. Either here or Probably should put it up like this. Are we able to use any of these armor plates from the honey on the side? I don't know that I want to because I need to put the roux. The roux needs to be on a smooth surface or it's going to look like a melted asshole. Not a fan of those. Man, this doesn't fit half bad. I almost make like a little tart when they're, they can have a picnic there. They can brew for tea and have something on there. Okay, so that's a possibility. That is a possibility. I think this is good as is. And I think having a commander in it is better than not, than having it closed. Maybe. All right, where's the other parts of this? I don't think we need guys in there. Let's fire up the hot glue gun. I like using the hot glue gun. If I change my mind, I can undo everything and remove the glue and nothing gets damaged. Nothing gets any worse. Yeah. This wouldn't even be half bad on the sides. This would not be half bad on the sides, but then I got no space for the kangaroos. Could use on another vehicle. We're going to leave this shut all the time. Nice thing about not using this turret is it's soft plastic. So you don't have to deal with something that's soft plastic that's you got to paint over. Which isn't a problem, but it's just extra drama. I think I'm going to cut this off. can't believe this paint didn't come off. Not a big deal. I'm surprised. Like, heavy duty. I baked on or something. All right, so we're going to close this up, and we're going to close this up too. And we're going to hot glue gun this too. If it doesn't work, if it gets too difficult, then you bring in the epoxy. But let's try doing it the easy way first. Now, the reality is we're going to be gentle with this thing anyway, so there's no reason that we need to, do this in a way that is too difficult. No reason to bring the big guns out for no reason whatsoever. And I think I could have been using the hot glue gun my whole wargaming. Yeah, this got some guys with rifles. This might be like, entrance to some cafe for veterans. I don't know, whatever. We don't want to make fun of veterans, so that's off the table. We don't want to make fun of veterans. God, this thing's heavy. Okay. Now, I got lots of these fuel canisters. Let's see if we can make these things work. Privet and morning. I don't know what that is. Privet. Don't you mean pivot? Okay, where is the kangaroo? Nope. No, but that's handy. Boop, boop. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to add some armor to it. ¿Dónde está? Here. Just kind of cut the size. And where is the tweezers? Okay, so the kangaroo, that's about what the shape of it is. can't quite fit on the side of it. It's going to have to loop over the thing. The question is, do I want it in the back or do I want it in the front? Oh, and the question is, are the other ones facing the same way? Holy shit, I'm glad I paid attention. One's facing this way, and the other ones are, so the ones that are facing this way, this one has to go on this side. Of course, if these explode, then we'll have to go to another plan. I'm not buying, I just happen to have these. So one of these goes on this side, the other one goes on the other side, facing forward. Okay. And I'm going to put it towards the front. Okay. So that means if we put a fuel canister, I know it's impractical to put it on the sides here, but I'm probably going to put it back here. And since we're going to go over the legs at the side anyways, if I add extra armor on here, it probably wouldn't hurt anything. Okay, and this is the thick stuff made with card. So let's unplug this. Privet is hello in Russian. I don't know that one. Na zdrowie. All right. I believe this is this card right here. And this, what was the new, I found a new trick after I started doing my cutting of how to do the cutting evenly. Shit, and then I forgot my new trick. ¿Dónde está? This. I have a mind to go to the dollar store and get a smaller one. This is gonna look fucking great. I was able to pull that Kinderkampfwagen out as well as that one turned out. I'm like, I can fucking do anything. And honestly, I'm enjoying these kludgings a lot more than just putting weapons on a car. You know? Because you can't write on this stuff. Permanent markers just wipe off, and then you get it all over your fucking hands. Okay, that's pretty good. I thought about getting one of those little micrometer things. Caliper. A, they're too expensive. B, they're too big. They're just too large. Okay, if I want to armor this whole thing, a centimeter is perfect. It's about the right size. Okay, a centimeter is one of these markings a centimeter? It isn't, because this is fucking inches. God, I hate inches for this. Damn you! Alright, what's close? That one. Let's just go to the far side of it. Time to start breakfast. Have a great day. You too, man. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be perfect enough. And this is perfect enough. Okay, let's do another one like this. Actually, I could just eye this. This is a short distance. You can tell when. It's when you're using the scissor and you're like blocking your own vision. It's like, what the hell am I doing? Let's just double tap. Yep. Okay, if I cover this evenly, I'm okay with that. I don't need to come out to this corner. I'm fine going from that corner to about there. And this we should be able to do by sight. And then we have an extra little piece of armor plate on there, and the kangaroo actually will fit more evenly than before. Except the kangaroo is going to be at the front, right? For the side of the kangaroo is going to be at the front. Doesn't have to be. Just don't got to decide where I put the fuel tank. Well, if I put the fuel tanks in the center, then it's a non-issue. Because the kangaroo is not going to be in the middle. So maybe that's what I should do: is put the fuel tanks in the center here. Where's the one that I have actually trimmed out? Here it is. I glue this thing in the middle. Then it's irrelevant what side I put the kangaroo on. That's what you do. Yeah, I'm having a blast, man. I'm having a blast. I have a lot of spare parts, and and the last Panzer thing I did with the little Kinderkampfwagen was really eye opening. That you can have. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, and yeah. And I mean, it's cheap as. I mean, this is cheap as fuck. I don't give a shit how many cars I have. I've spent so little money doing all this stuff. You know, if you add up how much time I've spent on how much cost each one of these vehicles has been, even including the ones I have not built. If you take all the ones I've built and the ones that I haven't built, and you add up how much money I spend on that, I've probably spent no more than $5 a car. No way more than $5 a car has cost. Probably closer to four. That's cheap as hell. That's really, time doesn't matter, right? Because no matter what I'd be doing, but like if I was buying, if, I've been doing this since what, September? So if I take, okay, September from now and I decided to do Warhammer instead, right? I'd spend more money on it. Even if I painted every single thing that I bought, so it's like, you know, yeah. Well, I want to add tank parts, but don't want it to be an unmodified tank part. I don't want to do like this is a Valentine turret, but we've got a different gun on it. You know, that sort of thing. And I think this is practice for my Panther because the Boombox Carnage is going to have a tank called the Black Panther, and it's going to have a Panther turret, but it's not necessarily going to have that. The gun with the double opening on it. I got lots of tubing to make believe guns out of, but it's definitely going to be a Panther turret. The rest of it may not be a Panther, but it'd be like somebody will reckon Panther has a very distinctive turret. You're going to be able to see it. Oh yeah, oh Black Panther, the name. Oh, and it's the Black Panthers. I got it. All of that'll tie in together. So, and it'll be black, and it'll probably have like a lighter gray camouflage on it or something like that, But the tank is going to basically be a black tank with camouflage on it. That's what I'm envisioning. So, just like the Asians are going to have a tiger that's going to be called the paper tiger, and I'm going to paint it like it's made out of a paper bag. It's not going to be made out of a paper bag, but it's like that way you have like a triple entendre. That's what I want. I want a triple entendre. And not just a double entendre, but a triple. And that's a big part of it. That's a big part of the entertainment for me. We got to stop in about 7 minutes. Right? Let me double check the time. I mean, I don't really want to stop, but Formula One race. 9. Some of these guys are like, you're just never going to win. The Aston Martin team and the Cadillac team are always the last two teams. Like, they're not going to win. All right. Did you do a school bus yet? Not a school bus. I have a short bus for this. That's a science team one. So when I went and I kludged my Kinderkampfwagen together, which I saw that you made a comment on my page, which I don't think anybody ever sees that. I don't even know how you get notified that there's something new there. But when I did this thing, it's got a school bus in there. But I don't have a school bus that's a school bus itself. I specifically got this one for the school bus portion, so I could cut it. But I have a short bus that that says science team. That's going to be for the nerd burglars, and there'll probably be other school buses, you know. But that's the closest thing to a school bus. So that fits nicely. So these things were notorious in Vietnam for AK-47s and things like that penetrating. So not exactly a super subscribe whenever you want, post something, it gives me an alert. Okay, so so if people don't comment on it, it's because they're not subscribers. Well, yeah, I don't know how the little, posting things on the community for me works. I honestly didn't know. I'm glad to know that it works that way. I'm going to glue this, and it's going to go from there to there. And I want the fast-acting super glue. Oh, let's learn our lesson. Let's shake it. Because these gels do seem to separate. And then you got the gel portion that doesn't come out, and the wet portion that comes out too fast. That's why I said post everything you have in time. Well, that's what I use Facebook for. I know you don't use Facebook, but that's where you get most of, interaction. And I get a lot of free stuff and ideas from Facebook. So I figured, might as well give back. I don't use it to argue about shit. I don't care about what people's political leanings are. Like, I'm not interested in disliking people any more than I already do. I don't care. It's crazy that this paint wouldn't catch a whiff. I don't know how people would get high on this stuff. This stuff smells horrible. It smells like it's fucking killing you. Or it can. And I'm probably going to put heavier armor in some places. Because I've got little nuggets here. Probably round off some of those corners and put those on here. But this is the main applique. And again, this isn't going to look great until we can prime it and we get all these colors under control. Because right now, all these different colors are just screaming at you all at once. Now that we have that little thing on here, is this something that we can attach to the back like it's a little pop-up tent, so to speak? Well, you find a use for that. One of the things, I have a WordPress site that I haven't posted on in a decade because I get like no movement on it at all. And I don't like to write. I hate writing. Because you don't know when you're writing if you're just wasting your fucking time. And I hate wasting my time. There's always something you could be doing. Yeah, I don't know how you would get high on this shit, man. That's what tequila's for. You want to go on a trip? Have some tequila, man. Get drunk. I don't think that needs to be perfected. This honestly fits on here pretty freaking good. There's nothing back here I really want to see. I think I'm probably going to glue this on here. Man, you could paint this like say a Union Jack or something like that. I mean, it would be, you know, like it's covering. That could be pretty freaking cool. Well, it would be the Australian flag, which would be a motherfucker to paint. I actually have little Australian decals, so I'm probably going to put that on here. All my guys are patriotic no matter where the fuck they come from. That makes sense to me, so. They're not necessarily fighting for that country, but they're proud of the country they were born in. That's probably the better say. They're proud of the tribe they're born in. I don't know if this is a real new. I was about to say, except for the Germans. I don't know if this is a new news story or not, but I saw a news story the other day, and it might have been an old news story, of some guy that was a guide. He was a tour guide, and he was taking a tour guide through somewhere in Germany, and he was a tour guide of a tour that spoke German. So he had a little German flag, and it's the Federal Republic of Germany flag. Doesn't even have an eagle on it. You know, the black, red, and gold. And a cop's giving him a hard time because he's, you know, showing a flag. I'm like, it's like a non-offensive flag, but you know, those guys definitely have their panties they went from one extreme to the other, you know. Okay, if I glue this thing in the center, let's remove this. I'm having a fucking blast with this. In case you can't tell, in case I haven't mentioned it enough, if I put the fuel can there, and we put this roux here, it's going to be in the way, okay? So if we move, we have to decide whether the roux is going to be in the front or the back. And I feel like it should be in the front. The tank turret is a little heavy on the back anyways. So it'll balance this out better. So we'll put the fuel canisters here. I'd put them on the top, but then you're going to interfere with the turret rotation. We got two of these. All right, I think I can safely glue these, and then. No, I need to scrub now. All right, folks. I'll probably be on later today, but I appreciate you guys' company, and this is Iron Roux in the works. All right, folks.